Good morning, grade 10 students. In this session, we're going to continue with our chapter about the green plants for the week 29. Already, we started about the green plants, and we knew that the this experiment we have two plants, plant 1 and plant 2, where this plant is is found in a test tube containing oil and water, where in plant 1 the root hairs and the root cap, both of them, they are placed in water. However, in plant 2 the root hairs, they are placed in the oil, while the root cap, they are placed in water. After a specific time or certain period of time, the plant A, it grows normally, it grows normally growth, and it stays green, while the plant 2, it wilts, withers, and it dies. This means that the part of the root that is responsible for the absorption of water, it's not the root cap, it's the root hairs. So this explains the part of the roots. So the variable factor in this experiment is not the root or the root cap, it's the part of the root, whether the root hair or the root cap is dipped in water. We have to distinguish the condition to which both plants are exposed to. In plant 1, the root hairs and the root cap, they are dipped in water. However, in plant 2, the root hairs, they are in oil, while the root cap in water. So here, analysis. After dipping the root hairs and the root cap in water, green plant become uh, normal growth. Whatever, dipping the root hairs in oil and the root cap in water, the green plant withers and dies. Throughout the conclusion, root hairs in the root, they are responsible for the absorption of water in green plants. So please be careful during the next process. I'm going to be so strict in the correction for the analysis, for interpret, which is analyze plus negation, for hypothesis, for describe, for aim, purpose, objective, or all of them they have the same meaning, for the pose of problem. I'm going to be so strict and I'm going to correct it strictly. So pay attention to this. Moving now to the transpiration. What is the transpiration process? It's the loss of water through specific parts of the plant. So loss of water vapor. So loss of water vapor through special part, they are called the stomata. These stomata, they are small openings on the underside of the leaf. So stomata, they are small openings. They can be seen by the naked eye. They are small opening at the underside of the leaf. They are responsible for the release of water vapor through the plant. So all of you, you know that the process of absorption. What is the process of absorption? Process of absorption is the absorption of water by the roots of the plant. So water is absorbed by the roots. Then the water will travel up to the stem and then to the leaves, where the process of transpiration occurs. So as a question here, what happened if the transpiration, what is the relation between transpiration and absorption? Who can tell me what is the relation between transpiration and absorption? Now let's see, analyze this. Yes, Fatima, what do you think? What is the
Mm,
relation between absorption and
Transpiration.
transpiration? Yes.
Transpiration is the process in which the leaves they lose water in the state of water vapor, and this water is absorbed by the roots, and then it goes through the stem to the leaves.
Exactly. But my question is, Fatima, is transpiration or absorption affecting each other? They are related to each other. For example, if the
Yes,
transpiration rate increases, if the level of transpiration increases, what about the level of absorption? It will increase or decrease?
it will increase, meaning that more water was absorbed.
Exactly. So if you have transpiration, so transpiration rate, if it increases, what will happen? This is an important idea and pay attention to this because this one is going to be included in your request for the next week. So transpiration, if the transpiration rate increases, so transpiration is occurring in an accelerated way. So transpiration, we are losing water. So in order to compensate this loss, لحتى نعوض, to compensate the loss of water through the process of transpiration, we have to absorb more water. This water is absorbed through what? Through the roots of the plant. So as the transpiration rate increases, the level of absorption or the rate of absorption will increase as well. That's why when we lose more water, we need to compensate the loss. So this compensation should be at the level of the roots by the process of absorption. So we said that loss of water vapor through special organs through the plant, we call it transpiration. These special organs, they are referred to as what? They are referred to as stomata. So these stomata, they are covered by cells. These cells, they are called guard cells. Like bodyguard, they are guard cells. They allow it to close or to open. How do stomata open and close? What are the factors that affect the opening and the closure of the stomata? We are going to identify this in the next session. So here, transpiration, we said it's the loss of water vapor through some plant organs. Which organs? We identified them in this experiment. We have two plants, A and B, where plant A containing leaves and plant B does not contain leaf. If I ask you, Muhammad Watfa, what is the variable factor in this experiment? What is the variable factor in Muhammad Watfa in this experiment?
استاذ
Yes. What the meaning of variable factor يا محمد؟
انا بدي احطه بالكويشن.
No, it's not the variable factor.
variable factor, water droplets.
Water droplets.
leaves.
So it's a حزورة leaves, water vapor. So what is your answer?
Leaves, yes.
Leaves. Okay. So the variable factor, ya Muhammad, is the difference between the two tubes. So two experiments. In experiment A, plant A and plant B. Plant A we have leaves, plant B we don't. So this is the variable factor. It's the leaves. Hassan Asal, if I ask you, can you compare the two plants to compare the aspects of the two plants?
Yes, sir.
Can you compare the aspects of the two plants?
No, no, the first plant there's a leaf, while the second plant doesn't leaves. Don't have
Okay.
leaves.
Okay, so you have to mention also the results. So plant A that contain leaves, it has water.
And the second plant doesn't have water droplets.
Doesn't have water droplets since it lacks the leaves. Very good. So here, plant A that have leaves, it has water droplets on the inner walls of the plastic bag. However, plant B that lacks the leaves doesn't contain water droplets. So how can you explain this? We can explain this that transpiration occurs only whenever we have leaves. So the major difference here is the variable factor, Muhammad, the difference between the two plants. Plant A contain leaves while plant B does not have leaves. So this is the variable factor. The variable factor is the leaves. In which plastic bag water vapor is formed in the plant A having the leaves. Reduce the part of the plant responsible for transpiration process is the leaves. So during transpiration, green plant they release water vapor through their leaves. You have to keep in mind this notes. Autotrophs. From now on, whenever I say autotroph, this means that I'm talking about green plants, about chlorophyll plants. However, whenever we talk about heterotroph, I'm talking about non-green plants. I'm talking about the non-chlorophyll plants. So this is the process of transpiration. Transpiration, and respiration and photosynthesis. Photosynthesis. Photosynthesis, we said it occurs only during day. Why? Because it needs sunlight. It needs the energy from the sunlight. The process of photosynthesis is the production of organic matter from inorganic one, from water and mineral salts. So the production of organic matter like the starch or the sugar should be done in the presence of two important reactants. So if I ask you, Sharif, what are the two reactants in the process of photosynthesis? What are the two reactants in the process of photosynthesis يا شريف؟ Sharif Hashim, can you hear me? Sharif Hashim is out of service. Let's move to Yaqub. Yaqub, good morning.
Good morning, Ustad.
So Yaqub, what are the two reactants in the photosynthesis process?
Sunlight.
Sunlight is not a reactant. It's a catalyst.
Uh,
It accelerates the reaction, but it's not
it's carbon dioxide
CO2, carbon dioxide, and
and water.
H2O,
Oh,
and the water. Thank you, Yaqub. So water and CO2, they are the two reactants in the process of photosynthesis. So what are the products? Samish Himi, what are the products of the process of photosynthesis?
Um,
What are the products of the process of photosynthesis?
Release of oxygen.
The release of oxygen, so this is one of the products. Oxygen is one of the products. I need the
I
second product.
صح.
And
Oxygen صح أستاذ.
oxygen is true, it's a waste product. Yes, it's the product of photosynthesis. What is the second product?
شو هي أستاذ؟
So Adam Ahmad, you have to know this, Sami, not me. Adam,
Sugar.
sugar, and it's glucose in the form of glucose, which is stored in the form of starch. Yes, Sami. Thank you, Adam. So here, this is the equation. You have to know it. Sami, as well as Yaqub, as well as Sharif, which is in silent mode today. So here, carbon dioxide plus H2O plus water in the presence of sunlight, it gives O2 plus sugar. So this sugar is glucose, which is stored in the form of starch. So this is the photosynthesis, and the equation is needed. Sometime we're going to ask you write the equation. So what is the photosynthesis? We said that photo light, synthesis putting together. So they put carbon dioxide and water together in the presence of sunlight. So sunlight is not considered as a reactant. It's a catalyst. It accelerates the rate of the reaction without intervening, it accelerates the reaction. So it's a process by which chlorophyll plants, well, the meaning of chlorophyll, they are the green plants. They produce their organic food from the inorganic one. So we said that this experiment, we have two plants. We get two leaves from plant in light and in darkness, respectively. We boil them in boiling water for a few minutes in order to kill the leaf. And then we dip each leaf in the warm alcohol. Why? The role of the warm alcohol is to remove its green color. Then we soften them by water. Then we add iodine solution to detect the presence of starch. If we have dark blue, this means that we have starch. No dark blue, there is no starch. So plant makes its own food by the process of photosynthesis. Photo means light. Photosynthesis, putting together in the help of light, and it takes place in the leaves of the plant. We said that the chlorophyll, it has an important role to trap the energy. It traps the energy from the sunlight. This energy, it helps to combine or to mix oxygen and carbon dioxide together, carbon dioxide and water together to produce the reactants and to produce the sugar and to produce the oxygen, which is considered as a waste product. As I said before, we have the stomata. What is the stomata? They are small openings on the underside of the leaf, and they're responsible for transpiration. So for the synthesis, light is trapped by chlorophyll. What is chlorophyll? The pigment that makes the green plant, and energy from the sunlight starts the food making process. The leaves from the air, and the roots take in water and water from the soil. So water and carbon dioxide, they mix together by the help of sunlight, and the leaf use the energy to put them together to make the food, which is a kind of sugar. Oxygen is a waste product. If you review these notes, you know that oxygen is a product given off by the leaves to the air. It occurs only during the night and during the day. The sugar produced is stored in many plants into the form of starch, which is stored for later use. This is one of the experiments that may you have a question. For example, we have a leaf left in sunlight for about 2 hours, then it tested for starch. We cover a part of the plant by a black cover, so sunlight is not reaching this region. After a few hours, 2 to 3 hours, we did iodine test. So all the plant parts that are exposed to sunlight, they have dark blue color indicating the presence of starch and meaning that we have photosynthesis. However, the part that's covered by the black cover, it is yellow in color, so no dark blue, no starch, so meaning that no photosynthesis occurs during this region. So this is the word equation that you have to study. Water plus carbon dioxide in the presence of light energy, which is the catalyst, it gives sugar plus oxygen. We said that if you want it as a chemical equation, so carbon dioxide is CO2 plus water is H2O. It gives in the presence of sunlight sugar, which is in the form of glucose C6H12O6. It's okay without balancing it. It's okay. Plus oxygen plus O2. This is the chemical equation. This is unbalanced one. You have to balance it if I ask you for. So it's easy to balance it. Grade 10 students. And then we move to question 1 in the worksheet. It's known that the root of the green plant, they consist of two parts, the root cap and the root hairs. To locate the precise site of absorption of the crude sap. Crude sap, this is the liquid that is composed of water and mineral salts. We're going to talk about this also in details in the next session. We performed the experiment. Already I talked about crude sap a little bit. So we bring 3 large test tubes containing water and oil. So all the tubes can contain water and oil. In tube 1, what did they do? They have water and oil. Okay? So in tube 1, we placed the whole root of the plant in water. So the whole root, the root head and the root cap, they are placed in water. So this is tube 1. In tube 2, we place the root cap in water and the root hair is placed in what? In the oil. So this is the root cap only in water and the root hairs, they are placed in oil. So we have to use these legends because they use by using the above legends, draw the figures. This is tube 2. While in tube 3, what do? They put the root cap in oil while the root hairs, they are in water. So they put the plant here. Let's say this is the root hairs, they are placed here in water and the root cap is placed in oil. This is tube number 3. So after 6 hour plant tubes 1 and 3, they survive while plant 2 dies. No change in the water level. So draw the figure representing the obtained result and the conditions. So first you have to put the conditions. Sure, every figure should be drawn inside the box and you have to give it a title and you have to put arrow and you have to draw the results for the 3 tubes. Interpret. What is interpret? It's analyze plus indication. So Kamel, interpret the experiments.
Yes, Ustad.
Interpret. Yeah, start. Step by step.
In the first tube,
Yes.
we put the first plant where the root hair
For the whole
and
root.
cap
Yes.
in water.
Very good. What happens?
After 6 hours, the plant lives.
Survives. Okay.
This indicate
I prefer Kamel to do it all at once. يعني أعمل 3 tubes together. Interpret all the tubes together. It's better for you, I think. Okay? Then in plant 2 or in tube 2, where the root cap was placed in water. Yes, continue.
and the root hairs were placed in oil.
Yes.
The plant died.
Yes.
In tube 3, where the root hairs were in water and the root cap was in oil, the plant survives.
What does this indicate?
This indicates that the plants, tubes 1 and 3, the plants absorbed water, and in plant 2, the plant didn't absorb water.
What can you deduce about the site of the absorption, Ahmad Farhat? Thank you, Kamal. What is the site of absorption of water? Which site? The root cap or the root hairs?
The root hairs.
Root hairs, they are the structure responsible for the absorption of water. Moving now to question 2. Question 2, we work on plants having parti-colored leaves. Parti-colored meaning that they have multicolors. The periphery of the leaves is white. So on the periphery, on the extremities, this is the white. While in the middle, they are green. So in an experimental setup, we place certain leaves under different conditions for about 24 hours. The leaves, they are treated then with hot alcohol and then dipped with iodine water. The table below shows the condition of the experiment and the results obtained. So first one is the control leaf. We have normal conditions or the natural conditions. So what do we have? We have this one. We have blue coloration only in the central region previously, which is green. So what is the role, Samir, of the control leaf? Samir Bawab, what is the role of the control leaf?
The control leaf is used to compare and explain different
Very
experimental
good.
results.
Very good. So the control leaf or the control experiment or the control tube is usually used to compare and explain the different experimental results. While plan 2, what happened? Leaf that has received air deprived of carbon dioxide. So here we have no CO2, no carbon dioxide, no CO2. So we have no coloration. So no blue coloration, meaning that the photosynthesis is not occurring. So what can you deduce in the second experiment? Yeah, I want to use students. I want to use voices. Ahmad Audi, what can you deduce? If you have no CO2, there is no blue coloration. What do you think here?
Then there's no the photosynthesis process.
Okay, what can you deduce here? That
Because
CO2 is
the process needs CO2 and hydrogen oxide.
and H2O.
Hydrogen oxide. H2O. Sorry.
H2O, it's water, not hydrogen oxide.
Yes.
H2O is water. So it needs CO2 in order to have. So in this experiment, we said that the plant, it needs CO2 in order to perform the process of photosynthesis. Moving now to the third experiment. Yes, Ali Khalifi. In the third experiment, what happened?
This is the
Yes, third experiment, what happened?
no blue coloration.
Okay,
on the
analysis. Analyze the experiment, Ya Ali, from the beginning.
After adding some iodine water on the leaf,
Yes, where the green part was
where the
covered.
green part of are covered in black cover.
So the green part here was covered by a black cover. So there is no blue coloration. What can you deduce here? What is the condition needed for photosynthesis? If it's covered by a black cover. So there is no what?
No photosynthesis.
Yes, but what is the condition here? What is the missing condition? There is no black, there is no what? No light. So we cover it by a black cover. So light is not
Yes.
reaching the part of the plant. So there is no light here. So no light, there is no photosynthesis. Yes, Adam Ahmad, fourth experiment or fourth leaf.
In plant 4, the leaf was covered partially by blue cover.
Yes.
Blue coloration only in the central region, previously green and now covered by the black cover.
Okay, so here also we're talking about light, but we are talking here
Yes.
about another condition, which is what? Which is the chlorophyll.
Well,
So it needs to be green in color in order to have photosynthesis. So what are the conditions here? In this experiment, they are the CO2, they are the sunlight, and also we can talk about chlorophyll if you want. Okay, so these are CO2 is important, light also is important for photosynthesis, and also it needs to be green in color to make the process of photosynthesis. So moving for question number 3. Jad Rasas, read.
First experiment with green algae from the
From the
Python
phylum Chlorophyta.
chlorophyta and are named for their green chloroplasts,
Yes,
which
chloroplast
are
is the
similar.
node where the photosynthesis occurs in this region. So this is the chloroplast. You are going to deduce. Okay, continue, please, John.
which are similar in composition to the chloroplasts found in land plants. An experiment is conducted on the green algae, which is described below.
Okay, thank you. Continue, Hassan Bawab. First experiment.
We bring green alga which was exposed for sunlight for several hours.
Yes.
Then we put an iodine drop on this alga
Yes.
and we observe it under oh, the microscope. We
Microsoft.
notice the
We notice the
appearance of
appearance
dark
of dark
blue.
blue colors inside the chloroplast. So we have dark blue color inside the chloroplast. Green algae, you see a lot of this, especially in Sur. You see this at the sea. So you see this green algae. So we have dark blue spots where inside the chloroplast. What does this mean, Yasilia? Whenever we have dark blue color, this means that we have what? Whenever we have
Yes,
dark blue color, this means what?
that it has starch.
Starch. Where inside the chloroplast. So we
Blast,
have
yes.
photosynthesis at the level of the chloroplast. Yeah, like continue the second experiment, Celia. Read it, please.
We bring green alga which placed in darkness for 24 hours. Then
Yes.
we put iodine drop in this alga and we observe it under the microscope. No blue color appears in any part of the cell.
Okay, no blue color. So this means that there is no starch. This means that there is no photosynthesis. So the first question, yeah, Brahim Tairik. Thank you, Celia. Brahim Tairik. First question, what is the posed problem? Show you the problem. What is the problem here? What is the posed problem? Okay, great. So let's move to others. I want a new student here. Sharif Hashim, are you available here? Can you hear me?
ايه استاذ سامعك انا بس عم بقرا التكست عم
Okay, يلا
شوف
اقرا التكست. اللي pose the problem. شو pose the problem هون؟ What is the pose the problem?
يلا بس عم بقرا استاذ بأي بالفيرست اكسبيرمنت
All of it, all the experiments.
اه
Experiments 1 and 2. So we did the experiment in order to know where does photosynthesis occur or what is the role of the chloro.
يلا بس
Yes, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up.
استاذ
Here,
المشكلة انه ما حطيناها بالسانلايت
here, for example, you can say what is the importance of sunlight for the process of photosynthesis, or you can say what is the role of the chloroplast in the process of photosynthesis. Both of them they work. Okay? The problem, both the problem should be in the form of question, Ibrahim, always. So, what is the importance of sunlight for the process of photosynthesis, or what is the importance of sunlight for the production of the starch, or what is the importance of the chloroplast? Analysis of the above experiment. Thank you, Ibrahim. Analysis of the experiment to deduce the role of the chloroplast. So whenever we did the first experiment, we leave it in sunlight for several hours, then we put iodine drops. We have starch inside the chloroplast. So what does this mean? This means that we have starch or dark blue color in the side chloroplast. This means the starch occurs in the chloroplast. However, in the darkness, no starch, so there is no photosynthesis. So chloroplast is the site where photosynthesis occurs. Compare between chlorophyll and non-chlorophyll. Chlorophyll, they are green plant. They are green in color. However, non-chlorophyll, they are non-green plant. They are not green in color. By this, we finished this worksheet and we finished the session for week 29.